Hi, this is Sonia Bharti and welcome to another episode of TFR Insight. It's a special edition for Open Mainframe Summit, and today we have with us Bob Dahlberg, Assistant Professor at VCU. Bob, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Please tell us a bit about your role at the university.
My role at the university as assistant professor teaching computer science, I am a term faculty, which means I mainly teach, but I'm also, with my industry experience, I also interface with industries as they partnership with the university. I teach non-majors as well as majors. I basically head up the certificate for digital fundamentals. Students can get a digital certificate and or a baccalaureate certificate in fundamentals of computing. I also teach all the seniors take my course. We go through a capstone where it's a year-long project that they do with industry. And this year I'm doing 33 of them, coordinating 33 of them, and actually mentoring 19 of them.
Awesome. Let's talk about your engagement with the Open Mainframe Project and the Linux Foundation in general.
I was a lifetime, in industry, I was a lifetime mainframer. Worked with ACF2 in the very beginning, so I've got a long history of mainframing. I've since then gotten more into distributed, and when I started working at the university, I met the IBMers, and they got me involved in the Linux Foundation. I am now on the executive board. I'm also on the steering committee, and I'm also lead on the mentorship project, and heavily involved in the education project as well.
So, as a mainframer, and mainframe itself has been around for a very long time. Uh, what role is Open Mainframe Project is playing in attracting new developer, new talent, and kind of close the technology gap? Because if you look at Linux Foundation reports every year, there's a huge gap between the supply and demand of talent pool.
Yes, well, for a long time, industry has or not industry, academics and industry has considered mainframes irrelevant. Of course, those of us who are in the know that it runs most of the critical infrastructure, credit card debt. I've worked for the Federal Reserve. A lot of the transactions that happen throughout the world go through mainframes. However, what's happened is universities traditionally have stayed away from teaching mainframes with a few exceptions. So most of the mainframers have been developed years ago and before there were computer science departments. And a lot of them, don't have formal college degrees, and those that do, a lot of those had degrees in liberal arts and music and fine arts. And the rare exception has been that we find people in mainframe who actually have degrees and advanced degrees. So what's happened is mainframe has started to change. The computing environment has changed. We've gone more to serverless type computers. The old rack blade type computers where you have physical servers doesn't work because it's not efficient. You've got the rack mounted CPUs and GPUs now that the mainframe provides can make much more efficient use. And what's happening is the mainframe is starting to embrace Linux and the distributed technologies, which now, as I talk to industry, I'm finding that they're losing mainframe technologists, but they need something more than just the old traditional technologists. They need somebody who understands both mainframe and the distributed world. So this is a bigger challenge for the new talent coming up, because in order to facilitate the need for the wireless or the serverless type computing with the containers and things, we need a merging of both technologies.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Uh, there are also some efforts going on, like the Open Mainframe Project Mentorship program is also there. Talk a bit about the program and also for how long it has been running, and what kind of interest you have seen from the interest students.
Well, I've been doing this for about 4 years, and it was around before that. What we're finding is that the program for the internships with the Lennox Foundation is international. The only continent we haven't had an intern on is Antarctica. So, and I always say that's kind of odd because that's where all the penguins are anyway, which is the symbol of Lennox. But we're finding that we get a lot of international students. We don't get as many Americans or even Europeans. We get this year we have an African, which is very exciting. We're getting into that continent. But mostly we see a lot of Indian, Chinese, mostly those type students. They seem to be more active.
There is also something called Mainframe Open Education Program. Tell us a bit about the program itself.
Well, we just really begun that project in the Open Mainframe. I'm very excited about it because being an educator, I think it's important that the universities and we get students doing this. Now, IBM has set up a Master the Mainframe Challenge every year. I've run 2 of those sessions at my university a year, or a semester. And what I've been doing is I've been getting these system programmers out in the field. Actually, I had 70 students go through it last semester, and I had over 600 years of mainframe experienced mentors helping them through the challenge. And it's a series of 3 challenges that the students can get digital badges, and companies will hire these students just based upon getting those badges. What we found is we're dumping these students right into that challenge without any background in what they're being challenged for. So it's very frustrating. So the education project in the Open Mainframe is an attempt to start getting some education for these students so that they can either get podcasts or curriculum that we can give to companies or universities to start training these students in things like JCL and ISPF and SMF and all these things that seem foreign. And the students really gravitate towards this. They really love this because especially my computer science students and even students who are in bioinformatics and other disciplines, or even those who've never had exposure to mainframe, they're very excited about this because it's not a simple Linux box. There's a lot more to it. There's something to really sink their teeth into, and they feel like that, I've gotten the basics, now I can become an expert. So they're very excited about it. Actually, the students are more excited than the professors are.
So there are 2 programs. One is mentorship, and then is education program. How did these 2 programs work together?
Well, the education one is just starting, and actually, I was a very big proponent, and during the executive board meeting, the TAC meeting, I actually, proposed, I supported it and suggested we make it a project. But the 2 are in tandem because, one, in order to get into the program and really make a difference into the mentorship, we really needed to start educating some students with a good background and get them some good fundamentals. And the students who were doing this were all self-starters, and they took the Master of the Mainframe, but that was a very painful process. And what we're hoping is we want to increase the number of students because, we've got people retiring at a fierce rate. The other thing is that other projects within the Open Mainframe, like the Zoe project, which is opening up the mainframe, the ZOS system, up to Linux and making it easier to access the mainframe, that is becoming a skill that is in high demand, and it's opening up the ZOS systems. So when you talk about mainframe, are you talking the hardware, or are you talking the software, or you're talking both? Mainframe is a very sloppy word right now because it means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
That's true. Hmm.
So the way it works together is I think we're the mentorship and the education projects are kind of in a symbiotic relationship. We need each other to keep the other going, and to really promote the next generation of computing.
Awesome. Now, you also interact with the students. You are kind of in the field. You have seen all the sides, right? You have seen the organization side. You have seen as a mainframer yourself. Um, do you kind of have any insight into the work that is going on as part of the Open Mainframe Project? Is there something more needed to attract? As you mentioned, most of the people who are coming are not from North America or Europe, but emerging economies like Africa or India. So, any tip that you have that how to get people even from these places get excited about mainframe or Open Mainframe?
Well, I've been working with my university. I started with IBM, we're trying to get a mainframe into our university, and actually we're trying to get some Power 9s as well. And I've got my eyes on the Power 10s, which are the new AI chips. And it's been an uphill battle until I can explain to them what types of things we can do with the mainframe. So one of the things that's important is we have no computers for, believe it or not, for research or for academic teaching. In other words, everybody buys their own computer through their grants. Well, the problem is we got a lot of these little computers all over the place, and we don't have the real horsepower to work with artificial intelligence and data mining with our business partners. With the mainframe, I can set up to 40 individual personal clouds, and I can articulate those, and not only can I use the mainframe and the Power 9s in that cloud, I can also incorporate the other computers that are in all the other research labs. So now I've got a large infrastructure that I can build dynamically and use, and I can take advantage of all that power. So I think as we start moving more into the cloud, and we start doing things with the cloud, there are things, and we're talking about the Internet of Things. I mean, there's so many things that we can integrate with the technology that IBM has provided in the ZOS systems. It's just, and it constantly amazes me. And they're even going to put the Power 9s into the same rack as my Z15. So and they're coming up with new chips. So there's the power of this thing is unprecedented. We were doing some research trying to figure out should VCU, my university, invest in this. And they moved a big headquarters up near you, up in Washington, for Amazon. Well, as we inquired, Amazon's using these systems too because it's efficient. So it really, even though you may not see the mainframe, it's there. It's just behind the scenes, and actually from a security point of view, it's good that it's behind the scenes. We don't want that thing right up front to be attacked.
So basically, what I understand from you is that as mainframe or Open Mainframe is kind of handling more of these kind of modern workloads, AI, ML, and all those things, or cloud. Because that's where the new generation of developers, that's where they are looking at cloud and all those shiny things. So that will help them get excited about it. Bob, thank you so much for taking your time today and talking to me today. I wish we were there at the event in person so we could just meet in person and talk about it.
I wish so too, but it's been very enjoyable talking with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk about something I'm very excited about.
Likewise. Once again, thank you.